Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel here. Welcome. We'll be talking about Ethan Klein and iDubbbz, doing a very quick summary on what the whole content cop and Ethan Klein and iDubbbz drama is for those who don't want to spend 2 hours of their time to react to. To really spend an hour to watch iDubbbz or spend like 2+ hours to watch anyone else reacting to it, because let's face it, those are some long videos. Besides, I had someone in my life who was like, hey, can you tell me what this drama's all about? And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I really can. I was stumbling over my words because I was like, it's kind of a lot to get into if you really want to get into all the little fine details. But in summary, you really don't need that. Because in summary, what it's really about between Ethan Klein and iDubbbz is a difference in opinion, a difference in what friendship means, an expectation. See, Ethan Klein thought he was friends with iDubbbz, whereas iDubbbz still thinks he's friends with Ethan Klein, but they have a difference in opinion as far as what friendship means and what is expected. In short, Ethan Klein felt betrayed, felt let down and betrayed by iDubbbz. Because when the harassment campaign against Ethan Klein reached personal levels, and it did, like CPS got involved in his life, and that is not cool, no matter who it is. Like in the online YouTube space, man, the back and forth between podcasts and YouTubers, even the radio scene, the radio show hosts that would have back and forth. That stuff is expected, and that stuff can be fun. That stuff can divide fan bases, but it can also be very entertaining, right? And sometimes it does tend to get personal. Sometimes it can get personal, and that's not cool, man. I think we could all agree that, hey, let's not go after the family. Let's not go after those that are not part of the content, especially let's not go after kids. Well, that happened. Ethan Klein started this feud with Hassan, and it was if you want more information about that, I would recommend you watch the Content Nuke video about that. But in short, in response to all of that, someone decided to get CPS in Ethan Klein's life, and that someone just so happened to be an acquaintance, associate at one point with iDubbbz. Also, Ethan Klein and his wife at one point helped iDubbbz and his wife, I believe Anissa, when they were in a situation, when they were being harassed. They had their back. So they viewed iDubbbz as a friend that they would be willing to have their back if they need to, and in turn have their back when it's expected. iDubbbz feels differently. iDubbbz does not see it that way. iDubbbz does not, like I said, in the Content Cop video, he was using the word friend in that video. Maybe he was being disingenuous, but I don't think so. I think he has a different opinion on what the friendship is. He even called himself a light friend. A light friend is someone that will be at a party that you have, but don't call them when you need someone to help move, or help you in a bind with your vehicle or whatever, okay? You call them for light things. They're there to hang out, but they're not there to really help you with your drama or your troubles. They got their own stuff to deal with, and they don't want to be involved in it. And if you do involve them in it, they get annoyed by it. Now, there's some other factors with this whole Content Cop and the drama between Ethan Klein and iDubbbz. Now, while I talked about the betrayal aspect, Ethan Klein feels betrayed. iDubbbz feels like there was an expectation put on him that comes from nowhere. It was an expectation that was not fair, he thinks. And he also feels like even if he said anything to disavow the person getting CPS in his life, that it wouldn't have done anything. And he's probably right. It would not have done anything. But there is but in response to the Content Cop video with iDubbbz, there is a large portion of the audience of viewers and even React channels that see this video as a big betrayal on iDubbbz's part, betraying Ethan Klein by doing this, by not just doing the Content Cop, but purposefully aligning himself by involving certain people like Hassan and all those others that had been part of the, I guess, harassment campaign on Ethan Klein. Like that right there sends a signal. That right there sends a message that, hey, I'm chummy with them. You know, the people that are that would go after you and say the stuff about you, like I'm chummy with them. I'm on their side, not on your side. So that's what it's saying there. And the reason why people see that as a betrayal is, like I said, at one point, Ethan Klein had helped iDubbbz and Anissa when they were being harassed. Okay? So it's like weird. It's like, okay, they were willing to help you out, but you're not willing to help them out. In fact, if anything, you're willing to go back for the other side. Okay. I see what sort of friend you are. The rest, that was the heart of the Content Cop video. That's the heart of the iDubbbz and Ethan Klein drama there. The rest of the Content Cop video on H3 felt more like just whatever nonsense about, well, not necessarily nonsense, but just things about like Ethan Klein has lost the message of his podcast. Being his podcast was about having fun, being humorous, and now it's about like going on a war path against other creators. And that's fair. I mean, that is what's happening. But there's like this back and forth that's happening as well. For example, the Content Nuke video, pure drama, yes. But that was Ethan Klein. In that video, he is targeting Hassan, yes. But it's a pretty concise message in that video. That Hassan, I mean, if one day Twitch as the entire platform gets in trouble for like being like pro Hamas and sending very pro terrorist messages, I wouldn't be surprised. And Hassan would have part of it. Okay, would have some responsibility there. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, you can say Ethan Klein started that. But the retaliation was you'd have the Hassan orbiters watch the Content Nuke and give their weak sauce responses. But then you'd have someone who calls CPS and gets life ruination stuff going on in response. That's not tit for tat. That is totally uncool, man. And that shows me, as someone who doesn't have a stake as to whose side is better or whatever. I don't care about Ethan Klein. I don't care about iDubbbz at the end of the day. Okay. But I look at this and be like, wow, that's unhinged. At the same time, I could say Ethan Klein comes off as unhinged. Like, if you see Ethan Klein anymore lately, he seems like something's not right with him. Like he's mentally unstable. His tics are getting worse. If you want to call him tics, to me, I kind of wonder if something else is going on, because that is a lot of sniffing, and he does look like he's losing weight. He looks bad. Like he looks gaunt beyond belief. Okay. He looks like he's ready to cosplay in a Band of Brothers episode. I think one of the last episodes, right, when they find the camps. Okay? He looks bad. He looks horrible. He looks like a whole victim. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. What could do that to you is, I guess, stress. by itself, maybe. Probably stress and drugs, you know. But hold on, I got to be careful, because another reason why I think Ethan Klein is unhinged is because he's been suing people for defamation on the internet, on YouTube, where anyone with a mic can say crap, right? You could just talk crap about whoever. A lot of people do it. A lot of podcasts do it. A lot of YouTubers do it. Okay, that's what it is. But now it's reached a point where Ethan Klein feels like he has to sue people, which is weak sauce and shows that he's unhinged. I'm just bringing that up into this video is because that's what we're dealing with here. The amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Just how fast this whole thing can get off the rails and become something else, to escalate, is just quite wild on both sides. And then to put it back to iDubbbz and what Ethan Klein thought iDubbbz was to him. Ethan Klein thought iDubbbz was a friend to him. Not a light friend, not a fair weather friend, not I just invite you to a party friend, but a friend that would have his back. Because he had Ian's back. Now, was it wild to have that expectation? Well, it was definitely foolish to have that expectation. Definitely, he was. But we all have been in situations where we have learned that someone we thought was a close friend turned out to not be a close friend. And those situations are horrible. This Content Cop H3 video is really a beef between two former friends. But one still sees him as a friend, the other one does not. Anyway, there you have it. I hope that helps. With that said, y'all take it easy and have a good one.